Mr Speaker, I rise as a member of the Electoral Amendment Bill Committee, as a member of the committee, to round out the debate with a brief speech, and just to firstly start by thanking all those committee members that were involved, the Minister for bringing the bill to the House. But before I just make a few brief comments, I just did want to start with the point that in 2008, November 2008, Mr Speaker, new opposition leader Phil Goff said, and I quote, that it was a mistake to ram through the controversial Electoral Finance Act without widespread support, and that Labor would like to take part in the review. He then went on to acknowledge publicly that the Labor Party had made mistakes. So I've got to say I was somewhat disappointed when I came into the House just 15 or 20 minutes ago to hear Chris Hipkins on his high horse talking about this party ramming through Mugabe-style legislation, when his leader in November 2008 had quite clearly acknowledged that they had rammed through electoral legislation without widespread support. So what we're seeing in the House today, Mr Speaker, is totally the opposite of what Mr Hipkins brought. We've gone through, exactly as the Minister says, we have been through a 2-year process which has sought cross-party support. I accept that the ACT Party, there are a few members of the chamber that aren't fully in agreement with where we've got to, but to say we didn't have anything but a majority would be certainly anything but the truth. I mean, we, through the Minister, through Amy Adams, through members of the Labor Party, we have reached consensus here. We've got to what I believe is a fair and transparent process, and we've brought about, I think we've also included, and that's what I liked about the processes, we brought about some of the realities of electioneering, because often when you put these debates in front of the officials, they haven't been out there and had to deal with actually raising finance. They haven't had to deal with actually putting up election hoardings. They haven't had to deal with all the issues that go with running an election. So I think having people like Darren Hughes, like myself, who've been through a couple of elections, like Pete Hodgson, it just brought a sense of reality there. So without labouring those points, things like the cost of hoardings, brought some common sense there. Around the level of third-party promotion, yep, it's not at the level that ACT would like to see, but, there were people, submitters, that came in thinking that we should only have a $25,000 level. Well, I mean, you wouldn't even have one ad or a couple of ads in the Herald, and that, how could that constitute a national campaign? And things like the reduction of compliance around associated entities, and that's where I'll finish my debate, is that, look, what they were proposing was that if you were going to make a donation, that you would have to declare as a donor all the associated entities or companies or trusts that you were involved with. And quite frankly, all that was going to do, well, it was a nonsense. It would have actually stopped donations in their tracks. Anyone who had any sort of number of different entities would have said, right, I'm not going down that track. I'm not declaring every associated entity I'm in just so I can make a donation to party. So I think we've reached some common sense there, and that's what I'm really pleased to see, that we've reached a transparent process that is common sense and will provide settled law going forward. Thank you, Mr Speaker.
That concludes the debate. So the question is that the amendments recommended by the Electoral Legislation Committee by majority to the Electoral Finance Reform and Advance Voting Amendment Bill will be agreed to. Those of that opinion will say aye. Aye. Contrary, no. No. The ayes have it. The clerk will conduct a party vote.
New Zealand National,
58 votes in favour.
New Zealand Labour,
41 votes in favour.
Green Party,
9 votes in favour.
ACT New Zealand,
5 votes opposed.
Māori Party, Progressive,
1 vote in favour.
United Future,
1 vote in favour.
Honourable Chris Carter.
The ayes are 115, the noes are 5. The motion is agreed to. The question is that the Electoral Finance Reform and Advance Voting Amendment Bill be now read a second time. Those of that opinion will say aye. Contrary, no. The ayes have it. Party vote. The clerk will conduct a party vote.
New Zealand National,
58 votes in favour.
New Zealand Labour,
41 votes in favour.
Green Party,
9 votes in favour.
ACT New Zealand,
5 votes opposed.
Māori Party,
E rima ngā pōti tautoko.
Progressive,
1 vote in favour.
United Future,
1 vote in favour.
Honourable Chris Carter.
The ayes are 115, the noes are 5. The ayes have it. Second reading.
Electoral Finance Reform and Advanced Voting Amendment Bill, second reading.
The question is that the Parliamentary Services Amendment Bill be now read a second time. Those of that opinion will say aye. Contrary, no. The ayes have it.
Parliamentary Service Amendment Bill, second reading.
These two bills are set down for committee stage next sitting day. Call on Government Order of the Day number 3.
Electoral Referendum